So this is a tutorial on how I do my flower embroidery for my bunny clothing, but I'm going to be showing you on this little granny square as an example. So you're going to need a darning needle, pair of scissors, yarn of your choice. I always use Sweet Snuggles Light by Loops and Threads. You can find that at Michael's or online. So you take your darning needle, you put your yarn right through it, leave a little bit of a tail like so. So you're gonna find where you want your flower center to be. So I want mine to kind of be right here, and this is very important because this is where you are going to start every part of your petals. So you're gonna go through the back and start, pull that up. Make sure you have a sufficient amount of yarn because you're going to use all this for the entire flower, so make sure that you have plenty of it. So I want the top of my petal to start here, so we're going to go through that stitch, pull the yarn through, and there's the beginning start of one of the petals. So again, you're going to go back into that same center stitch where you started, then pull that through, and then again the same stitch where you started that first petal. You're going to do that twice for every petal you want, and there you go, you have the first petal. Again, you are going to go through that center stitch, pull through, and then you're going to find where you want the next petal. So I want mine here, so we're going to use that same method, going through the center, pulling it through, and then back in the stitch where you had that petal. Make sure that there's two pieces of yarn, best I can explain it, for every petal. So again, back, I kind of want it here, pull through, and again through the center, and the petal, and pull through. I usually like to do 5 petals on my flowers. If you want more, you can always add more. Just stick to that same method of the pulling through. So again, now we're going to do the bottom petals. So I want mine about here. Pull through again in the center, and pulling back in that stitch. Then again through the center, and the last petal. Oops. So you're gonna see, hold on, let me finish this really quick. So you're gonna see that your flower center, if you want your flower to be a little more fluffy, you can always pull it through with your darning needle like so. So if you kind of see your flower center is a little wonky, you can always leave your flower like this, of course. I personally like to add a color in the center so it just looks like a regular flower. So you're going to turn it around, and you're going to see that your starting stitch, or your starting yarn and your ending yarn, is in the back. So you're going to cut that, and then you're going to tie it, but make sure not to tie it too tight because you don't want your flower to look pulled in. You want it to look nice and fluffy. So I'm going to show you how I do the center. I usually do yellow centers. So I grab my yellow yarn. Ooh, ignore the little floofs. So you have your yellow center or your center color, whichever one you choose. You're going to again pull it through your darning needle, pull it through, have a little bit of a yarn tail, and again you're going to use the same process. You're going to go through the back, but make sure that it's not directly in that center because you're going to pull it through and then pull it through at the next stitch. So kind of make it to the side, so pull it through. I'm going to kind of find a stitch. Make sure that it's not going back into that same stitch because you want to knot it in the back and you don't want your yarn to fall out. I guess right there is good. So you pull it through. Okay. Okay. So this is kind of like the same technique, except I don't like how it looks. So if you don't like how your center is turning out, you just pull that one right out. And you go again and try it again. There you go. Then you kind of tug on it, pull it out a little so it looks nice and fluffy and flower-like. This petal is kind of wonky, but again, if you don't like the way your petals look, you can always take out that yarn and just start again. There you go. I'm going to try to pull that through so it can be a little tighter. So there you go. And just adjust it to your liking. I'm going to leave mine like so. And then again, you're going to go to the back of your piece. You're going to cut off the one that's on your yarn ball. And you're going to tie it. Oops. Not too tight. And then cut it short. And, oops, I dropped my scissors. And voila, there you have your flower. Don't mind that mine looks very weird looking. They almost always don't look like this, but again, you can always go in and fix it. There you go. And there you have it. Hope this helps. If not, you can always send me a DM on Instagram at Ami by Abby, and I'll try to answer your questions as best as possible. But there you have the video tutorial on how I do the embroidery on my bunny clothing.